A very good morning again to all of you once again, and we welcome you to the second edition of the Greece Investment Summit 2025. This session is going to be an interesting one. It's with the Ajmera Law Group. Ajmera Law Group is a premier boutique law firm specializing in immigration, investment, and cross border legal advisory services. With a distinguished legacy spanning decades, the firm has carved a niche in providing comprehensive legal solutions for the high net worth individuals, entrepreneurs, and business seeking global residency and citizenship through investment programs. Founded by Mr. Prashant Ajmera, an internationally recognized immigration attorney and author, the firm has been instrumental in assisting clients with navigating complex immigration frameworks across multiple jurisdictions. Ajmera Law Group offers an expert counsel on citizenship by investment, residency by investment, business immigration, and international tax planning, ensuring legally sound and strategic solution tailored to each client's unique needs. With a deep understanding of evolving global migration policies, the firm is committed to integrity, transparency, and excellence, empowering clients to make informed decisions while securing their global mobility and financial interests. With this, please allow me to welcome Mr. Prashant Ajmera. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayank. It's good to be back here again with you.
It's a pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure. So, as cliched may sound, you have been one of the veterans in the industry when it comes to the residency and citizenship by investment. And
Yeah.
I don't think there is anybody more popular than you in the industry itself. So,
Thank you. Thank you. It doesn't have to be popular or anything, but when you are in industry for such a long time, whether you are good or bad or whatever you are doing it, probably you are doing something right, and that's why you are there in the industry for such a long time.
absolutely, absolutely. So, we will start with the first segment of our Q&A, which is the introduction and expertise. So, can you introduce the Ajmera Law Group and your expertise in assisting the Indian investors with the global residency and citizenship programs, particularly related to Greece, since we're talking about the Greece Investment Summit?
So basically, as you already mentioned in our introductions, that I'm a Canadian citizen. We are a law firm based in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, India, and involved with the residency and citizenship by investment for a long time. I also written a book on the subject, The Millionaires on the Move, which talks about the residency and citizenship programs of almost 20 countries, including Greece as well. No doubt this is an old edition, so it will have a little bit of older data, but basic fundamental remains the same. Is there? And as a law firm, we are the only law firm whereby we assist the people in a way, not only just making an investment, but we are trying to help the people out that what is your objective when you want to immigrate?
Mhm.
What do you want to achieve by obtaining the golden visa? Whether it's a children's education, whether it's an expansion of a business, is it the quality of life, is it the tax planning, it's your retirements, combination of all these things. And those are the key factors involved in which where we are very comfortable and very confident in guiding our clients.
Great. So, in the last couple of months, there has been a drastic increase in the interest towards the Golden Visa Greece specifically, and of course, there have been a lot of changes which has happened over the past few months as well in the program too. But it has been seen that it is one of the most preferred programs of RCI in the recent reports that we have seen. Greece has been noted as one of the top most appreciated residency and citizenship program that has been offered. So, from that per se, what you think is the psyche of the Indian investors? What exactly goes behind their mind for taking such a residency program?
See, man, you ask a very important question. The answer goes two ways. No
Mhm.
doubt, the Greece is the most popular program as well. But why it has become popular? Because before it was Malta, Cyprus was there, then Portugal was there, and now the investment amount has become a 250,000. So, in a main countries of Europe, with the $250,000 in euro investment, you can obtain a golden visa, and that's basically immediately attracts the attention of the people. Then they say that okay, now Portugal has become very expensive, Spain is closed down, so that's why people are making an inquiries and interest is showing, which is good. But still, when a client comes to me, I always tell them, what do you want to achieve by obtaining the residency and citizenship? The reason I just mentioned to you in my earlier answer, that does it meet that requirement for you by obtaining the Greece golden visa? Then says yes. Like I'll give you an example of very quickly. One lady called me from Goa. She's a lawyer as well. And I analyzed her situations, and she was going for a golden visa, not the by investment but by marriage.
Hmm.
But then she decided that no, I don't think that I should take this visa. So your I mean decision can be an other way around as well. So you have to make a right decision. Question is, interest is there and it should be there. Yes, and for certain people who wants to be in a Cuba, means in Europe, Greece is an ideal country with such a low investment. Why can't you achieve your dream of being in Europe? Whether it's a quality of life, your expansion of a business, your retirement plan, your tax plannings, all those things are available.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the reason behind speaking to somebody from the Indian origin is to understand the Indian psyche, because already we have done a lot of interviews since morning, and of course, our audience would have actually captured a lot of information from the Greek point of view. The reason of having you with us is you are a veteran and you know the industry very well. People come to you with a mindset of investing in Greece, and from that per se specifically, our the idea is that when somebody comes to you and say that, okay, now I feel that for me Europe is a big market and I would love to do certain investments. Greece is something that I have figured out as per my homework that I've done by reading certain reports and all. Now can you suggest me the way forward? So can you just help the step by step process as to how one needs to actually look in for the best property options, looking for the best alternates, for the best chartered accountant in Greece, and how things actually move forward?
Right. So in a Greece, once you identified your reasoning that yes, now I want to move forward and I want to make an investment, then depending on your capacities, or rather than a capacities, the amount of investment you want to make it. So under the new rules, as we know that as of the last year, now you cannot make an investment directly into the any properties. It has to be some specific. So because of these countries are small, housing demand is there, the prices were increasing. So government made a change in the regulation, and whereby say that if you want to make, because one of the popular city in Greece is Athens, and people want to make an investment. So government come up with a very innovative ideas that there is a lot of commercial properties are there. If you are taking a project, or if there is a project where the commercial property is converted to a residential one, which is, it could be a studio apartment, it could be a one bedroom apartment, then we welcome that investment with $250,000.
Mhm.
If you want to go in the other areas where you requires a bigger property, single occupancy, because mixed properties and all those things were allowed under the old
Yeah.
rules. Now it has gone to 400,000. And if you want to be in like a proper Athens areas with the where it was created as a residential only, and that's what you want to buy, the investment amount is 800,000. So
Mhm.
you have an options available: 250,000, 400,000 euros, or 800,000 euros. That one is available if you are going for a real estates. Apart
Mhm.
from that, also remember that the other options are also available to you, whereby you can put a half a million in fixed deposits, or buying liquid assets, and those kind of investments are available. But you know that most of the peoples are looking for a real estate investment. So that's the first idea. Now you have a two ways to look at it. There are few developers, we are also representing one of the developers, who are coming up with the projects with $250,000. So
Mhm.
that option is immediately available. So either you have to decide you want to work with the developer or you want to work with the real estate agent, because obviously the developer will have his only project available, whereas the real estate agent will have a several projects available. So it depends. Some people feel comfortable that okay, I want to work with the agent who will show me the various projects, whereas the developer will say that this is the only projects we have it, and so on and so forth. So depending on your appetite, you decide on this one. And then you want to do two things. One is that have your attorney in Greece and in India appointed. Thereby, the your attorney like office like us can help you to do all your documentations, work with your bank here to transfer the money. And also when money is to be remitted, then it goes into the escrow accounts into the lawyer. So your lawyer is acting on you. And once the lawyer has opened an escrow account, then once the deal is to be closed, the money is gone from there. So your lawyer in Greece is handling your whole transactions with the lawyer in India. So when you have a lawyer on both sides, it's easy and comforting. Also, compared to the other countries like USA, Canada, Australia, you need to show only bank transactions and certain backgrounds. You don't have to go into the detail of the source of funds. So that is a little bit of relief on that one, that you do not have to go into the detail. But yes, you need to show a transaction which are coming from the banking institutes. And when you are going with the developers, the beauty is that you can basically, some of the new projects which are coming up, they are giving you a time to remit the money in installment,
Okay.
whereby if you go for some ready-made properties, then you have to make an investment in a one time, then only the transaction will happen. Whereas here you have a time to give money step by steps or an installment.
Construction link plan, basically,
Yeah,
CLPs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it could be 5 to 10 installments are there to make your investment. Once this one is done, and generally what this the real estate developers are doing right now with these new projects, that when they reach the halfway through, then they are, and when they receive the 50% of the money, in most of the cases, then they will allow you to execute an agreement which basically can show it, and your process for submitting your applications can start. Because see, this is a new process, man, whereby earlier was that you are buying a ready-made properties, you done at your deal, whereas in this case the government has given a leeway whereby if you have reached to a certain stage and you have committed your money and other money is coming up or already in your escrow, but you have not given the money, the government will allow you to start your golden visa process. So there is a difference in that one as well, because this is when you are converting a commercial property to a residential. So that
Yeah.
renovations, or in India we call it a redevelopment, is going to take
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah. True.
It's
True. True.
not like demolishing the whole buildings, but you are just basically redeveloping.
True.
Because when you are in an Athens, you have to remember that it's a very, I mean, dense city. The buildings are connected next to each other, so you cannot demolish the whole buildings. What they will do is they will keep both the sides, and then inside they will make changes, and the redevelopment will happen, or renovation will happen. But it would be a major renovation to convert
From
into residential.
for the subscribers understanding, so now one more thing is quite famous in Greece is that there are certain commercial properties which are turned to residential, and
That's right.
so that is a big advantage because the locations are pretty prime for many of these properties. In fact, last year when I visited, I saw certain properties which were into renovation from commercial to residential. So what
Yeah.
is your take on that? How do you see that? It's a good way
See,
of investing.
because you see, Mayank, you have to see in an overall perspective that these are the, with the low investment, it is going to be a high return,
Mhm.
because in Athens, you have visited Athens. Most of us have visited Athens. Acropolis is the heart of the Greece.
Absolutely.
And in and around and in a downtown area of Athens, wherever you are, there are a lot of commercial properties were there. Now it is converted because people wants to stay in that area. The regular commercial residential properties is becoming very expensive. So government wants to increase the residential property in and around Athens area, and the only way they can do it is by converting this one, because there is no land available, right? Land,
True.
if you want it, is like a far away, and people
Yeah.
wants to stay this one. So obviously there is a supply and demand. Like, I mean, when the Lehman Brothers happened in 2008,
Mm.
between 2008 and 11, people were talking that these three countries, Portugal, Spain, and Greece, are finished.
Yeah.
But these are the small countries. So when your right actions are taken, it doesn't take a long to turn around the countries. That now in 2014,
Mhm.
when I was talking to people about the golden visa of the Portugals and Greece, and when I visited in 2014, and again I visited in 2018, I says it's a bankrupt country. And now we are talking in 2025 that people wants to take a golden visa. So within the 10 years, this whole economy of that countries and status and everything is changed, because ultimately it's a part of the European Union. The fundamentals of the countries are right. The quality of life standards and everything is very high. And that's why it didn't take them long to get back on their feet, that now they have reached to a stage that they have to close down the half a million, 250,000 regular programs and come up with the most returns. And in my mind, man, this would be there for only a couple of years.
Yes.
Again, the government is going to change it to the higher amount, because they realize it that For the real estate investment, we want to do it. We can do it by golden visa. They have learned that tricks. The European Union has given a very strict guidelines to this one, that we do
Yeah.
not want to do direct citizenship, but we
Mhm.
are open to the residency by investment,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
and the other ones, and startup visas are in investment. So it is going to continue, but as the interest increases, the amount is going to continue to increase as well. I'm sure that Spain has suspended the program, but excuse me, they will come up with their own program within the next 6 to 8 months time.
Okay, interesting, interesting. And what is the normal gestation period for a person from applying to finally getting the golden visa? How much time does it take for a person to?
I would say minimum you have to give us 6 to 8 months. If you are going with the redevelopment, you are looking at about a year or year and a 15 months time. I would say, because the buildings are still see all these buildings. The rules is I mean it's, published in somewhere in last year in September,
Mhm.
but now it's only 4 months has passed. So even when I spoke to some of the top developers in Greece, they said that yes, we have identified the properties, or some of them are still struggling with identifying the properties. Then they have to go to the city, they have to go to the permissions, they have to go through the whole transaction of the process. And when it is approved, then the project will come up.
True.
So it is going to take time. So you are looking at something, I would say year and a half time for sure, because these are the new rules, new process. So and the projects are just getting ready.
True, true, true. Very true. I think, I mean, this is one of the best explanation that we have received so far regarding the whole process. And finally, of course, the gestation period and which are the best options available in the market. So, coming back on the fact of comparing the Greece with other residency programs, and honestly speaking, there have been a lot of changes world over, and specifically the news which have came just 1 or 2 days back about the US as well, which is the new golden card which is being offered there now for the EB5 as well. It clearly shows the intentions in the market that if you plan to come down to a particular geography and take the residency or citizenship, you have to pay a heavy amount for getting that too now. It's not a cakewalk it was initially.
Right. Absolutely. But see, again, I'm going back to my initial
Yeah,
statements that
yeah,
the amount doesn't matter.
absolutely,
It serve your purpose of
absolutely.
of getting that residency. You are wealthy. You are not going for an economic purpose only.
Hmm.
It could be children's educations, it could be quality of life, expansion of a business, tax planning, retirement. So when you are a wealthy that who can put $5 million, and if you have a thriving business, yes, probably you want to move to USA. But if you are a businessman who is looking for a retirement, are you going to look at the USA where your whole worldwide income is taxed there? No.
True, 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 true.
It
Another
is.
important question. Yeah, another important question is, sir, that a lot of people think that just because the Portugal and the Spain program got little changed in their old policy and everything, and that is one of the reasons suddenly Greece has become one of the most attractive options for investments in European Union. What's your take
Yeah.
on that?
Yes, because see, the Greece has played a very smart way.
Hmm.
The smart way is that they knew that the people wants to be in Athens in downtown area,
Hmm.
right? So that's why they allowed the commercial to the residential. Whereas Spain has closed the program. Portugal
Yeah,
has says no more in Lisbon's and the other major cities. So
yeah,
there the people's interest died down. Then okay, well because generally human mentality is that when you want to immigrate, most of the people wants to go and stay in a bigger major metro, and that's what our Asian and the our mentality is to go and
yeah.
stay in those cities. So
Hmm.
if that option is not available, is there? If the Greece says no more Athens, I mean I can see a straight die down.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree to that. I think that is one of the prime issues which is going to be there in the coming times. In case the program still continues, they have to consider a lot of issues related to the space constraint also, and
Yeah.
specifically, yeah, Athens being the premise
Yeah,
of one.
but and also, Mayank, you have to understand that who is immigrating. We are
Yeah,
talking about the Asians, South Asians, and people in Middle East, right? That's
yeah,
what our audience we are talking to.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if the American is, or the British, or the north of the Europe peoples are moving, say there are a lot of Americans who are moving towards. I know
Yes.
a couple of guys
Yeah.
who has moved. They're my immigration friends. So
Yes.
they have moved not to the major cities. They moved to the tiny cities.
Mhm.
That sometimes when I have talked to them, he says, Prashant, let me reach home. The Wi-Fi is not good or the mobile connection is not good. They're living in a tiny, but they have moved there with the retirement plan. Like
Mhm.
last year, remember in September, this guy was there with us from the Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin is an American citizen. He has moved to Spain in a tiny village 4 hours away from Barcelona,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
near the coastal city.
Interesting.
So the mentality of those people from the America and Britishers and coming to the European countries and particularly coming to these countries is moving to a smaller town and
Mhm.
living in a sea beach life. I
Mhm.
don't think that that's the mentality of the Asians, South Asians, and Middle Eastern populations. They want to stay in a hustle and bustle in a big cities. So if that option is available, that country is going to continue because I have seen it. I have taken a clients and to the smaller town or to the these places. They'll say, "क्या देखने का है here? There's nothing to see here. Go back."
Mhm. Mhm.
And
That's
if
true.
I, yeah.
That's true. So moving on the yeah, another segment, which is the financial and the taxation considerations for Indian investors. Again, it's a very important point because this is something which only one of the Indian attorneys can explain better. So when we talk, how does India FEMA and RBI regulations impact the Indian investors who are looking to buy property in Greece? What are
So
the basic?
you can make an investment under the FEMA.
Mhm.
It's a 250,000 US dollar is available. So you have to plan in a way that you do it something by 31st of March of this year. So this
Yeah.
is an ideal time that to do it in this month. At least transfer your money to your lawyer's escrow account, and the other one you can do it afterwards. So that's the FEMA is taken care of. There is no restrictions on making an investment into real estate. Actually, rather it's basically it's allowed. When it comes to the taxations, the both countries are the taxation is based on the domicile.
Mhm.
So that means if you obtain a golden visas, many client comes to me and says, I want to obtain a Greece golden visas or Greece NRI status.
Mhm.
So I don't have to pay tax in India. But then my next question to them is, how many times you're going to stay in India? Oh, I'm going to stay here probably once in a year. I will go to Greece for a couple of weeks or in Europe in summer times. I said, well, then you are not letting go the Indian taxation because both countries says that if you stay in either of the country for more than 180 days or 82 days, you are
Mhm.
domicile of our country. That
Okay,
means,
that's interesting. That's news. Mhm.
yeah. So that means you have to pay tax to us. So if
Mhm.
you are going to stay in India and continue to do this one, then you have to pay this one. There is another rider as well in this one, which used to be the 6 months, but the government of India saw that a lot of people, wealthy people with a lot of businesses, are taking a residency of or in a nearby country like Dubai's and Abu Dhabi's and all those places,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then keep going in and out of the countries. And then they'll say at the end of the year, "Oh, I stayed 160 days in India and rest of the time in Dubai. So I'm not subject. I'm an NRI. I'm not subject to taxations."
Mhm.
So that time is now reduced to 4 months.
Okay. Okay.
The Indian citizen. Not
Okay.
only that, if your total assets is more than 15 crores, then also you have to look into it that how you can get a tax exempt. So a lot of people understand that I take a residency or citizenship and I mean avoiding the Indian taxation. It's not going to happen. There is a two things you have to look at it. Whether you want to reduce your individual tax or you want to reduce the tax of your company.
True.
So you can move the company out of India and that company continue doing the business, and when you receive a dividend or a profit then you pay your tax. When you
That's it.
say that I want to reduce my personal tax as well, then you have to move out of India and be and compliance with the taxation law whereby you are not subject to Indian taxation. But also
True.
remember that if you are earning profit profit for your business, rental income, dividends, interest, which are there in India, is subject to taxations, and there would be a TDS, and you would be required to file the tax returns which
Mhm.
you might get the benefit or refund of your money, but you have to speak to a chartered accountant in India and probably a chartered accountant in a country in which you are taking a residency.
True, true, very true, very true. Now, specifically, a lot of these developers, in fact, the kind of interviews we have conducted, they have mentioned that the person can directly send the money to the developer instead of having an attorney in between. So, do you think that makes sense, or is it worthwhile?
I mean, so obviously, any developer would be interested in taking the money, but I would not advise to do that. Uh, it can be done. It's a legal process. It's there in Portugal. In the but generally, what we recommend to the client is that they transfer the money through the escrow accounts or through the lawyer's account, which
Okay.
becomes a much more viable and possible. That say, for example, now all these projects are in the development stage. You gave your $50,000 or $25,000 as a deposit. For the intention of the developers are all good. I'm not doubting that. But for some technical reason, the building permit is not given. What do you do?
Okay.
Because you have to remember, man, Athens is a historical city. There's
Yeah.
a lot of heritage buildings are there.
Yeah.
So whether the government is going to give a permissions or not going to give a permissions, we don't know. Even the developer doesn't know.
That's true. And considering it as an investment, do you think it's a safe investment to do it in Greece?
Yeah, it is going to be safe because see, this is a residential demand and supply. There is a shortage of residentials there.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a number one destination in the world for a tourist to come and stay,
Yeah.
for the people to come and visit. So all these places, short term, long term, full time, they need these places to stay, right? And because of the shortage, it is going to be, if it is a right project, it is going to be a very very safe investment. Very safe investment.
Great, great, great. Now, coming to the next point is about. I would take the both the questions together. One is, of course, the tax implication for any Indian investor, and second would be the double taxation agreement between India and Greece. What kind of benefit does that offer?
What was the first question, Mayank?
The tax implications for any Indian citizen.
Right. As I just mentioned, that there is a double taxation treaty is there. Now, obviously, I'm not a tax expert. So I always work with the chartered accountants in both countries to give an advice. But to understand very fundamentally, people think that if I have my apartments and I give it on a rent and I'm making, say, 10,000 euro per year as
Hmm.
a rental income, where do I pay the tax?
Hmm.
So as you are not resident of Greece, that means you will be required to pay a tax in India.
Hmm.
Okay, so generally under double taxation treaties, you can pay a tax in either of the country. So, say for
Okay.
example, in Greece, you have filed your tax returns, or the tax is deducted at you at 10% from your 10,000. That means 10% is taken out.
Yeah.
Now that means it's a rental income under the double taxation treaties. If that money comes to in India, then you have to see that what tax rate you have to pay for this one. So if say for example your tax rate in India becomes at 20%, then
Hmm.
you will pay not another 20%, but you will pay
Only
only
10%.
10%. Only
Got it.
10%. Say
Got it.
for example, for that foreign income, your tax rate in India is 5%, then
Hmm.
you will not pay any additional tax.
Hmm. Okay,
So
that's interesting.
this is how the double taxation treaty works between the two countries.
Great. So now, when we have spoken about the investment, we have spoken about more about the real estate part of it. But what is beyond real estate? What all other options we have for doing an investment in Greece?
See, excuse me. The other investment is one of the good one is the time sharing. You know that now Oyo and Airbnbs are things are happening. So if you make an investment and a furnished apartment of anything between 400,000 to 800,000 and you are renting it out, then it should be for a period of 10 years. It is possible. So if you want to immediately generate the income, then real estate leasings or time sharing agreement could be a possibility to do it. The second one is that okay, I don't understand the real estate. I don't want to go through that one. Then the second option is just putting up the fixed deposit in a bank of 500,000 in a bank. It should be a Greek bank. You take your money there, open up your bank account, and put a 500,000 euro in that one for a fixed deposit. You might earn a very little 2-3% or 4% interest on that, maximum up to 5%. But
Hmm.
it is possible. You don't want to get involved into that, whether this project is good or bad or anything like that one.
Okay.
Then other one is that capital contributions of 500,000 in a public listed companies. So in equity, if you make an investment, that is also possible. The government bonds also 500,000 if you want to make an investment, that is also possible. Similar things with the mutual funds and alternative investment, like in the startups and those kind of things.
Hmm.
350,000 euro you can make it. So the alternative investments are there as well. So again, I said to, what is your appetite about the asset class?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like if I talk to a financial guy in Mumbai or in Delhi, he will understand more of a financial than a real estate.
True. Very
Whereas
true.
this, see, the good number of people like it, the real estate, because they can see it, feel it, stay it, and everything. Whereas
Yeah.
these are the different asset class, and when you don't have enough information about the market, and you saw that worldwide 95% of the people do make an investment into real estate.
Yeah.
And like even in Portugal also, this investments were there. Even in the Spain also, this different investment were there. Whether you are making an investment into the stock market, bonds, government bonds, fixed deposits, mutual funds, even the startups and venture funds, all kinds of investments were there. Even the government donations, like Portugal had a government donations whereby heritage properties you want to renovate it, and if you put 250,000, it's still there, and you can get an everything. So, but 95% of the people, I would say, are going for the golden visa through the real estate project.
Interesting, interesting. So I think we can take the last question now, which is, what is one common mistake does the Indian investor normally do based on your experience, and what is one advice you want to give to all the Indian investors, specifically who are the first generation and who are doing the investment for the first time internationally?
Within a couple of days, I'm going to write an article
Excellent.
answering your questions, and I'm not going to write it. It is already written. I have to post it, which
Okay.
is going back to the first question, what you asked me.
Yeah.
When you are looking at the country, stop. First, look at your own circumstances, your
Mhm.
children's, your professions, or a business, and see, make an analysis what you want to achieve by immigrating out of the country. And then the second question comes up, okay, I want to go to America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, this English speaking country, or a Europe, or a Caribbeans, or a Middle East. Right. Okay. Then talk to, if you cannot do it on your own, talk to a professionals and do the balances. What are the pros and cons of this one? Once you have identified of your country, then you want to come to two things. Again, two questions. Do you want to make an investment actively or a passively? Active, that means you want to go to that country and run and manage your own business, or you
Mhm.
want to put money into passively into a real estate or liquid assets,
Mhm.
fixed assets or liquid assets. That
True.
those are the two questions you have to ask yourself. This is how you analyze and you make your decision. And the third one is the residency requirement, because America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK has a heavy residency requirement.
Yeah.
That means you have to move there. It's not like your credit card that you put your golden visa in back of your pocket and says that I'm a golden visa or a green card holder of America. You have to go and
Very
stay
true.
there.
Very true.
Whereas the European countries gives you that facility that you have a minimal residency requirement. If you do the analysis of these three countries or three places, you will get your right answers. I had a client just last week. He talked to me 6 months back. He went on his own to Dubai and get the Dubai residency visas and companies and everything. Then again, now he came back to me, Mr. Ajmera. Uh, I mean, I went to Dubai, but वहाँ पे तो बहुत गर्मी है, it's very hot and blah 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 and everything. Now, can you help me something? I said, sir, because why he choose the Dubai? Because the golden visa is costing half a million, a quarter of a million to half a million euro. Whereas the Dubai residency visas, you can get it less than 20,000 US,
Mhm. Mhm.
and yearly expenses of 5 to 6,000 euro of expenses. But does it serve your purpose? He says, it's
Exactly.
not serving my purpose. I wanted to go there and do the business and so forth. So, I mean, people are going with the numbers and nearest countries and so on and so forth. But you have to do your own analysis and your own circumstances, that what is right for me and what I want to achieve. If you do this 3 or 4 steps analysis, asking your questions yourself, stand in front of the mirror, ask your questions. Why do you want my visas? Whether I
Yeah.
want to be active or passive investors and a residency requirements.
Yeah.
You will get your answers.
Excellent, excellent. I think I mean we can go on and on with you specifically for these information, because there is no better way of getting hold of all the information specifically from a person like you, because you have been there in the industry as a pillar and have been resolving a lot of issues for different type of investors in the market as well. And we once again, sir, thank you so much for being part of the
Thank you.
Greece Investment Summit, the second edition, and of course you were there for the first one too. And we really look forward to meeting you in person. And before, yeah, please, you were saying something.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So we in fact before we end, we would request all our subscribers to kindly do your due diligence before making any kind of investment decisions. And at the same time, these sessions that we do are mainly for educational purpose. So it is important for you to ask questions in case you have any. And Mr. Jmera, what will be the best way to approach you and reach you? If you can just let our subscribers know.
Say, my mobile number is 9974253030. That's the India mobile number. And another one is my website, www.ajmeralaw.com, or email address very simple, info@ajmeralaw.com. And if you can't remember anything, just type Prashant Ajmera in Google and you will hit my website without any doubt.
Very true. Great, sir. Thank you so much once again, and look forward to meeting you in person very soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bank. Look forward to meeting you. Bye.
Yeah. Take care, sir. Bye bye.